Hi, Anime Rangers. It's time to dive back into a brand new episode of the Unaware Atelier Master. And let me tell you, today's episode was amazing. But before we get into it, if you missed any previous episodes, don't worry. Their recaps are waiting in the description. Go catch up, then jump back in. So, episode 3 picks up right where we left off. Kurt casually saving a cursed princess with a homemade dish. Yep, the man was working at the atelier shop for like a day and somehow cooked up a dish strong enough to lift a deadly curse. Honestly, he should just open a restaurant. Cursed by dark magic? Try the stew of salvation. Meanwhile, Ylia hears about all this and she's over here holding her hair like she's trying to keep her brain from exploding. I've been gone for half a day, and this guy's already out here saving princesses? But let's focus on the real issue. Who cursed the princess? There are 3 suspects. Sinova, the stern general. Tristan, the bishop with a smile that belongs in a horror movie. And Isadora, the elegant, icy stepmother. Personally, I'm betting on Tristan. That man smiles like he writes his sermons in blood. But honestly, no one knows for sure. Guess that's just royal life. Fancy clothes, fancy meals, and people constantly trying to end you. Luckily, Ylia, the calm and clever blue-haired Atelier, has a plan. She wants to use Lisa's bait. Now that Lisa's turning 15, she's officially starting her training. And the trap? They're setting her up in a fake atelier. The plan is that the enemy will hear about it, try to gather intel, and, since it's all fake, come up empty. The hope is they'll dig deeper, get sloppy, and boom, caught red-handed. I don't know, Anime Rangers. I don't totally follow it either. But hey, this is anime. Sometimes the most complicated plans are the ones that somehow actually work. Fast forward, and we see our beloved Kurt heading back to the atelier shop for his second day of work, only to find the place closed. Now, Kurt has no idea that the girls are actually outside, gossiping about him. Nope. Our sweet, overthinking cinnamon roll just assumes he messed up. Like, why would the shop be closed unless I did something wrong? I don't know, dude. Maybe because you made a dish so strong it reversed a royal curse? Just a thought. Anyway, speaking of dishes, our boy suddenly realizes he's hungry. He heads into a restaurant, sits down, starts thinking about finding new work. But then, he overhears a conversation at the next table. Apparently, there's a party of adventurers with a problem. Their porter got sick, and now they can't complete their mission. Turns out they're supposed to carry a 200-kilogram golem back from a cave, but without someone to haul it, they're stuck. And that's when Kurt just inserts himself into the convo. I heard you needed a porter, someone to carry stuff. Now the party turns and looks at him, top to bottom. And I get it. I really do. He's this lean, unassuming 15-year-old kid casually volunteering to haul 200 kilos of stone monster. Their reaction? You? Yeah. Same. And just like the rest of us, they make the classic mistake, underestimating Kurt. So how does he respond? By casually lifting both adult male party members at the same time. One of them is fully armored, by the way. Just up they go. The third party member, the armored guy's sister, is just standing there stunned, watching Kurt treat grown men like gym bags. People in the restaurant start clapping like it's a street performance. Honestly, what an embarrassing but hilarious way to prove your strength. The writers of this show know exactly what they're doing. Anyway, so now the squad is heading into the caves, and that means it's time to meet our mysterious new party members. One by one, they start introducing themselves. First up, we've got Cans. He's rocking heavy armor, fights with his bare hands, and get this, he carries a sword just for show. He doesn't even have enchanted gloves or some secret weapon gimmick. Nah, just a regular dude in a regular suit of armor throwing hands. Okay, I guess that's technically unique. Next, we've got Danzo, the samurai. He dresses like a samurai, talks like a samurai, and yes, he's the party leader. Very classic. Very cool. Very I meditate before I kill you. And then Sina, the ranger. Hey there, ranger. Sorry, I had to. It's in the name. Respect. Finally, it's Kurt's turn. He bows his head, humble as ever, and goes, "Thank you so much for taking a chance on a nobody like me. Sir, you lifted 2 full-grown men like grocery bags in public. There was applause. You got booked like a circus act. And you're still acting like you're lucky they even acknowledged you. His humble energy is truly unmatched. This man is somehow clueless and overpowered. A walking contradiction. And I love it. Now, Here comes the funniest part of the episode. They finally arrive at the cave entrance ready for action, and suddenly a slime jumps on Kurt's leg. What does our overpowered genius do? He screams, like, "Get it off! Get it off!" flailing around like he just stepped in lava. And then Sina, our cool, collected ranger, goes, "It's just a slime. Destroy the core." Simple, efficient, logical. But apparently, this is Kurt's first time seeing a slime. How? This world has magic, monsters, and curses, but you missed slimes? Anyway, he pulls out a dagger to fight it, right? Cool. Except, he tries to stab the slime and it doesn't work, so naturally his smooth-brained conclusion is, must be the dagger, maybe it's not sharp enough. And what does he do? He tests it on his own leg, my man. I bet he really, really wishes it hadn't worked, because now he's bleeding, screaming, and still has a slime attached. Luckily, Sina saves him. She handles the slime and gives him this look. Not even annoyed, just pure pity. Like, you poor, stupid, adorable little disaster. He might be an overpowered idiot, but let's be honest, when it comes to actual combat, this boy can't fight for shot. So there they are, finally inside the cave. And of course, someone has to remind our walking natural disaster to watch his step. Because if anyone's going to trip into a bottomless pit or step on a monster nest, it's Kurt. Then Sina brings out this neat little trick, some kind of glowing dust. She gives it a gentle blow, and it spreads across the walls, lighting everything up, like a fantasy version of LED strips. Super practical. Props to Ranger innovation. The whole place gets a nice glow, except for these weird dark patches. Kurt naturally asks about the weird stuff. And what does he get? Oh, that? Goblin poop? Yup. We're not even 5 minutes into the cave, and we're already stepping in monster turds. But no big deal, right? They can handle 1 or 2 goblins. They say that with full confidence, like NPCs before a boss ambush. And right on cue, they run into one lone goblin. It gets dealt with fast, but not before it lets out a scream so loud it echoes through the cave like a dinner bell. Now we've got goblin war cries coming from every direction. And here's the kicker. They can't run. Because now the sounds are coming from behind them too. Even the entrance is covered, which raises the question, how did they get surrounded? Were the goblins just chilling behind rocks like surprise fools? Either way, they're trapped. Like real, actual, this is the end kind of trapped. Everyone's panicking, weapons drawn, heartbeats rising. But Kurt, he's not even tuned in. He's staring at a wall like he's waiting for it to say something. And then he blurts out, "Hey guys, found a secret entrance." Because of course he did. Plot armor strikes again. The hidden door swings open. Sina doesn't even hesitate. She grabs Kurt and they slip inside, gently closing the entrance behind them. But here's the gut punch. They both know only 2 of them are getting out. The other 2, Cans and Donzo? Yeah, they knew that door wasn't made for 4. So what do? They stay behind. Swords ready, knowing they're about to make a last stand just to buy a little time for Sina and Kurt to escape. No hesitation, no drama, just a quiet, tragic sense of duty. And Kurt and Sina overhear everything. That line, "It will be an honor to die for her." Yeah, that hit different. You can feel the emotion crawling up their throats, but there's no time to process it. Because right behind that secret wall isn't safety. It's a giant iron golem shaped like a freaking dragon. Sina collapses to her knees, completely overwhelmed. The door was supposed to be their salvation, but it looks like death followed them in too. She thought she was safe. Turns out this cave is full of bad surprises. While everything's falling apart in the cave, somewhere far away, back at the inn, we zoom in on 2 very familiar faces, Leslie and Ylia, standing right outside the place where Kurt used to crash. Turns out they've agreed to keep Leslie's royal identity a secret. Smart move. The last thing they need is more drama. And you know Kurt would start apologizing for even looking at her if he found out she was a princess. Actually, knowing Kurt, the moment he finds out they hid this from him, he'll probably be like, "It's okay. I must have done something wrong. I probably made you feel like you couldn't trust me. I suck." Classic Kurt. Guy misunderstands things even when he has all the facts. Anyway, they head up to his room and, surprise, he's not there. Nobody knows where he went, except one. A disembodied voice. She's back. She doesn't even show her face, just drops a line from the shadows like a phantom ex-party member / stalker ninja. Creepy? Yes. Helpful? Also yes. She tells them Kurt's in the northern caves with a new party. Ylia's eyes go wide because she knows those caves. That's goblin territory. Bad place. Bad vibes. So she and Leslie bolt out the door, full sprint. But of course, Ylia's not thrilled to have royalty tagging along. I don't have time to babysit a sheltered princess. But Leslie? Not having it. She straight up tells her she can handle herself. By the time they reach the cave, though, they're hit with another problem. Which way? There's no map, no clue, until Leslie sniffs the air and says, "I can smell Kurt." Excuse me? Turns out she's tracking him like a bloodhound in heels. And Ylia, she hates how much that bothers her. You can see it, this weird jealousy creeping in. What if Kurt ends up with a princess? Let's be real, competing with that is a nightmare, no matter how good your sword game is. But she sucks it up, follows the trail, and they start hearing the sounds of battle echoing through the cave walls. They stumble upon Cans and Danzo mid-fight, still holding that last stand like absolute legends. Ylia turns to Leslie and politely, but firmly, asks her to stay back. There's no time for spells. This is sword work. Leslie gets the message, but still boosts Ylia's stats. Support magic for the win. And then it happens. Ylia charges into the next room, and in a flash of steel and fury, she carves through almost every goblin in one clean swoop, like a true heroine making her entrance when all hope was fading. Swords flying, goblin limbs flying. And our girl? Not breaking a sweat. So yeah, the rescue squad is slicing through goblins like it's nothing. But let's not forget, Kurt and Sina are still locked in a room full of iron dragon golems. And it's been a while. Ylia and Leslie are strong, but this cave ain't exactly a quick jog. So the question on everyone's mind, is this the end for Kurt? Psych. Because our disaster protagonist takes out his dagger, yes, that same butter knife dagger that couldn't even poke a slime, and starts mining the iron golems. Like, this man is talking to himself like he's doing a cooking show. First, you slice off the tail, then we go for the head. Bro thinks he's on the Iron Chef, not surrounded by iron death. And somehow it works. Turns out, the key to Kurt's power isn't magic or training, it's delusion. If he thinks he's mining instead of fighting, suddenly he's unstoppable. Plot armor, maximum overdrive. Meanwhile, Ylia and Leslie are still out there being total badasses. They do save the rest of the party, even though, let's be honest, Kurt didn't need saving. Man was in there harvesting boss mobs like he was farming mats for a new sword skin. Still, credit where it's due. Both ladies are absolute heroines. And in a moment of peace, we get some good news. They officially recruit the whole party to help out with their atelier business. Which is great, because even though we just met these goofballs, I'm already emotionally invested. Cans with his fake sword, Danzo the samurai leader, Sina the ranger, hey there ranger, and Kurt the delusional powerhouse. But just as we settle in, the questions start stacking up. Like, how did Bandana Girl know where Kurt was? Why is she always one step ahead? Why does she never show her face? And why do these new party members not even know who gave them this goblin quest in the first place? Back at home base, it's finally time to test Kurt's aptitude in skills that don't involve screaming at slime. Remember way back in episode 1 when the examiner went on vacation? Yeah, well, forget that guy. Because now we've got Mimiko stepping in. Not just a local shopkeeper. She's the royal court mage. A literal big deal with the authority to change lives and maybe kingdoms. And Mimiko casually strolls up like, "Oh yeah, I already signed off on Kurt being B rank in cleaning, mining, and cooking, and C rank in everything else." But let's be real here, that's a cover-up. The real score? SSSS rank. In everything. Outside of combat, this man is an untouchable god-tier life skills machine. And yeah, that's not exactly the kind of info you want getting around. Because in this world, even princesses aren't safe from getting cursed. So what do you think would happen to a clueless, overpowered foreigner with SSS ranks? Exactly. Right on cue, guess who walks in the door? The Hello Hello World host herself, Kershell. She shows up just in time to hear the words SSS rank, and immediately starts panicking like, "La la la, I didn't hear that, didn't hear anything." But the girls, they know she's trustworthy. So what do? They start yelling on purpose. Hey, did you hear Kurt is SS rank? They're trolling her, hard, but also letting her in on the truth. Only 4 people know the secret now. Ylia, Mimiko, Kirschell, and of course Leslie. Because if they want to protect Kurt in this world, they can't do it alone. He might be clueless. He might still think his dagger isn't sharp. But he's the most valuable person in the kingdom.